satisfactorily. Thank you. Any further questions? Yes, at the back and then Prof.
Yes, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Hime Thorakaimu, and I am the QA Director at NAST. And thank you very much for the presentation. I have listened carefully to your presentation, and one aspect that I was curious about is that you focus strongly on STEM, but did not mention STEAM in your presentation. And considering that the two are complementary approaches, and STEAM is increasingly regarded as most suitable for Industry 5.0 because of its human-centric nature and other creative components. Also given the fact that NAST inaugurated a Department of Digital Animation, I was just curious to know whether it was intentional or whether, knowing that STEM is the foundation for STEAM, perhaps you can just elaborate on why it was completely not mentioned. Thank you. I have another question, but I'll probably allow others to also ask. Thank you.
We have Prof here.
Good afternoon, Prof.
Afternoon.
Thank you for a wonderful presentation. You mentioned that we are currently producing about 200 publications, and we are aiming at 500 publications. Would you just highlight to us, enlighten us, how you are going to change the culture? Because this is about culture in the university. Academics regarding themselves as wanting to advance knowledge. You can notice this from the way we promote people. People scramble to put things together. Even before they are really ripe, they scramble to put things together so that they can go to the next notch. So you can see that there's no culture for cultivating the academician, such that the promotion is just a crown that is given to the person. Now, just highlight to us how you think you're going to change this culture of our academics, and maybe even those in admin who are interested in knowledge creation of publishing. Thank you.
Thank you. You may take on those two questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kaimu. It was not deliberate. I was guided by what was given to me, but very much at my back of my mind, very aware that, when this is not, why do you create, solutions for who? And for people to use. If you are not considering the human aspect out of that, then you are creating something that will not work. So yes, I'm aware that it's actually, even when you talk about entrepreneurship or entrepreneurialism, because then you are including the social aspects. So it's very important to have the social aspects, and this is where also the creative industry can be created on. You talked about the digital art and animation, and I believe there is great potential for us to tap into that. Why am I saying that? Because now your potential revenue or customers is not only Namibia based. You have digital revenue that you can create your product and then it can be sold online. So there's a great potential. Yes, I believe in you. We should include the art in our STEM fields. To Prof. Mapani question, it's a tough one. If you talk about cultural change of people to look at high impact publication, scientific rigor, and it takes time to have that culture, but with deliberate effort. For instance, we have people that say, no, I like teaching. I'm here to teach. Why are you bothering me with research? If you like teaching, why can you not find out why are your students failing? It's a problem. So have that as a problem and find ways to fill that gap. So it's a way to find what people like most and inspire them. What they like most, they can always do research. could be educational research, applied research. And we need all of us, especially those that are busy with research, invite them to do research, incentivize, and we are doing that. We have really deliberately putting up events to invite people to emerging researchers to understand. So those activities are not for nothing, and I believe they are there to inspire people to change the culture, for people to understand what is research. Also, general public, when we put our events like this one, for instance, that is live stream, people can understand what is research and how impactful it is. We have seen economies that we have really changed by investing in research, doing research, finding new innovation, knowledge-based economy. We cannot do that without research. So people need to understand, we need to sing that gospel to everyone, and I believe it's possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. I would like to now give an opportunity to any of the panel members. If you've got a query before I go back to the public. Yvonne, how are we doing on time? 3 minutes 20. Any question from the panel? Okay.
Thank you, Prof, for your presentations. You mentioned green hydrogens and oil and gas on your energy mix strategy. What is your view of Namibia tapping onto nuclear energy, given the availabilities of uraniums in the country?
I think it's only one question, given that we've only got about 3 minutes. Unless somebody's got a short question that we need to add on to.
There's one more question from online.
Can we take the online question then?
Okay, so here's a question from Wala Lubinda. And the question goes, it says, excellent proposals. However, what is your proposal on how to make technological innovations employment intense? Remember, the unemployment rate target in Vision 2030 is about 3%. So how to make technological innovations employment intensive?
Is the question clear?
Yes.
Okay. Please proceed and respond.
Yes, unemployment and how you can make technological innovation intensive for job creation. I would say, when you have opportunity to create something, something that is unique, and you find the right people that can use that solution, I believe there is opportunity for us to do that. For instance, when we incubate startups, what we have picked up in our current system, even those incubatees, the people that are incubating their business, they take interns. That is a way to contribute to employment. But obviously, to make a great impact is when all our startup companies that are out, especially after 3 years, they have created employment. So I think there is opportunity. By the way, if you look at LIFA, LIFA is a Uber type of driver solution. It was incubated at NAST, but it's about calculating how many other people are employed by that solution. And the good thing is, as I already indicated, there is potential for that. We are already having students that are working on that. There is AR tutoring system that the students are working on that have won global awards. So there is potential. How to intensify that is putting dedicated efforts, resources, funds to ensure that we are putting deliberate effort to intensify that. Then Dr. Shalimba's question on nuclear science and how we can benefit. Yes, we can apply it in many areas, and I think I rely more on how we are using it through the Ministry of Health, especially for medicine, for diagnosis, finding the right disease and treatment. So I'm more leaning on that area. Yes, people, you could use it also for energy, but I'm relying more on health usage.
Thank you very much. I think we've exhausted our time. Okay, thank you, Prof. Stanley, for the presentation. And thank you, participants, for the questions that you've asked. That will also guide us in terms of making the decisions. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will give ourselves 5 minutes before the next candidate comes to present. Thank you. You may stretch your legs for 5 minutes. Kindly bear with us. I think IT is trying to sort out something. We should be starting any minute from now. IT, are we ready? Marjorie? Are we okay? Are we waiting for the candidate? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the break. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the second candidate, Professor Emmanuel Nepolo. I would like to also mention that the presentations that are being made were given to them just after the first part of the interviews this morning. So they were given an hour to prepare for the presentations and then present to us. So it's not a presentation that was done days before. It was just given, they were just given an hour to do this just after the interviews. So Prof. Nepolo. IT.
While we are waiting for the IT, good evening, everyone.
You may want to use the mic
Oh, sorry, I need to be standing.
Yes.
I'm pleased to be with all of you this evening, and I'm going to share with you my presentation for the evening, which is on accelerating NAS contribution to Namibia Vision 2030 through STEM-driven research, innovation, and partnership for the position of a DVC read or RIE. What we have here is NASA's STEM-driven catalyst for Namibia Vision 2030. The vision that I've crafted for the next 5 years is for NAS to be a Namibian leading STEM hub that accelerates national transforming by generating higher impact research or applied research, breakthrough innovation that's relevant to our national or global programs, and at the same time producing skilled talent that are going to drive the transition for Namibia by 2030. And how this is going to look like for us by 2030 is that in terms of innovation ecosystem, Namibia, we want to be the powerhouse. And the national hub for emerging technology housed at NAST, and the driver for research led with social economic development, whether with social impact or with economic impact. And in terms of how success should look like for NAS by 2023, NAS should stand out as a leading scientific, technological, and innovation institution in Namibia and among the region, if not beyond. In terms of how we are going to achieve this, or how it will look like for us by 2030, number one, we need to increase our postgraduate enrollment at least between 40 to 60, and increase our PhD graduation between 25 to 35, and we know that especially in engineering, computing, and natural sciences, and we know those are quite important to drive research output. And we want NASA to be hosting diverse group of researcher, innovator that can contribute to our vision of 2030. With a very important, strong industrial link with our research hub, innovation hub that are already in existence at NAST. And what we want, most important, with those are key thematic area for NAST, we want at least our graduate students or researcher leader to lead this impactful solution, not only for water, energy, digital governance, maybe mining optimization, and most important, health technology. We also want how it's going to look like by 2030, at least that the NAS Innovation and Commission have the fully functioning ecosystem that can at least support between 15 to 30 startups through capacity building, and at least we can have up to between 10 to 20 patents or copyrighted technology where we can at least derive benefit from those. And in terms of industry funded and grant funded, we should at least exceed the benchmark between 50 to 80 million annually to be generated in terms of research fund. And we also want to, at least in terms of our partnership and global integration, to have a strong partnership with at least 30 national and global organizations for us to be able to achieve our strategic objective, and for NAS to lead and co-lead within SADC, Wide Research Network, and also within African Union And most important, for us to develop an agency, fund long-term with industry to fund our key thematic area in terms of research. We also need to look at research integrity, institutional capability, and impact culture. Here we are talking about a model for research quality, integrity, and institutional excellency that's going to put NAST up by 2030. To achieve this, we need at least a full digital research management platform where, when students submit a proposal, a research proposal, at least is tracked and it's also given a turnaround time. We know how long it's going to take before we respond to that. And most important, we also need to have our annual research impact report that is going to demonstrate what we are doing as we move forward. And also have highly trained staff in research ethics, data governance, and most important, responsible innovation, because we know that innovation can be disruptive. There are three key priorities that to strengthen our NASTEM leadership. The first one is to build research excellence in strategic STEM domain, and those are already part of the strategic plan. What is going to happen there, we are going to identify key, at least up to between 5 to 7 priority STEM domain. We have already AI, data science, water security, digital health, and so forth. We are going to establish research or research in each domain to provide leadership for those specific domains so that we can achieve those strategic objectives. Create flagship research lab and center of excellency, as some of them are already in existence, but what we are focusing on here is to see either idea, prototype, being also commercialized. And we are also going to increase higher quality publications, citation, and increase our collaboration in research. The second key priority area is accelerate innovation, technology transfer, and industry impact, where we are going to turn STEM research into solution, not only prototype, patents, and also startup. We are going to operationalize this by introducing a technology transfer office that's going to provide assistance to the new ideas that we are going to come up with, mentorship, to the point also of having a prototype or a product that can be commercialized together with the industry. And we are going to capitalize or continue building on the NAS innovation or commercial hub that's already in existence, so that at least it cut across different faculty within the university. And most important, our stakeholders are very, very important. So it's very important for us to create industry-linked STEM lab with our key stakeholder. And we are going also to introduce innovation challenge for our staff member, for our students, so that at least we can challenge their intellectual ability or their innovation capability for them to come up with an innovative idea. And these are going all to be in line with our key thematic area as underlined below. And the third one is to develop a high-performance STEM talent pipeline. And this is in terms of our postgraduate students starting from honor to PhD. And to achieve this, we need to recruit top international African STEM researchers through fellowship. They can also come to us as visiting research fellow, innovators, designer, to assist us to move into that direction. And most important, we also need to build a supervisory academy to increase research productivity moving forward. In terms of implementation approach, I've highlighted a few of them. There's how we are going to implement this, and also in terms of leadership and also in terms of operationalization. In terms of leadership, we are going to make sure that we set clear non-negotiable research focus area based on those already existing. Ensure that every faculty map their work to at least one priority domain, and we can focus our resources and energy and expertise at least on those selected domains. We are also going to make sure that at least we champion evidence-based high quality research with societal impact or industrial impact together with the industry. And we are also going to advocate now for government and national investment into our STEM program for us to achieve this key priority area. In terms of authorization, we are going to establish research. Some of them are already existing. We are going to capitalize on those ones so that at least we can expand in this area. We're also going to make sure that at least we have our key performance indicator, which are tied to our publication, funding, postgraduate output. And again, it's also based on we are not going to divert from those key thematic areas that's already in existence. And we are also going to build research management to deploy digital system for proposal, ethics, and to track our output. What we are going to measure by 2030, at least we would like to look at our research output currently doubled, and the number of our patents increased, our postgraduate enrollment also increased to 50%. Then in terms of economic social impact, at least to 90 and to 150 million annually research driven in terms of grant and other possibility. And most important, we want to be ranked among the 20 African STEM university within the region. In terms of acceleration priority area number 2, we are going to establish a visible culture of innovation across campuses and ensure that's the first call for technological solution for Namibia. And in terms of how we are going to operationalize this, we are going to define our clear, not only IP policy, but also our technology transfer policy, so that at least they are in line with what we are trying to achieve. Then train our research on those, have our annual innovation week, also have innovation grant, and also do industry co-funded project with problem statement, and we can also co-supervise with the industry. And in terms of developing a high performance STEM talent, we need to have at least a strategic talent pipeline. Otherwise, most of our ideas, they will never make it to commercialization. And we are going to provide training, fellowship, and mobility opportunities, market NAS research strength and national and regionally. And how we are going to operationalize is to structure our honor program and funded program, and also we are going to co-fund postgraduate position within the industry for us to be able to be a lead in STEM by 2030. In terms of our leadership action and stakeholder collaboration outcome, we are going to create a STEM leadership council that meet quarterly to review our key performance indicator so that we don't lose track of where we are coming from, where we are, and where we are going. We are also going to strengthen our international communication and alignment, where we update our stakeholder on what we are doing, and also do state research and innovation. And most important, we need to publish our success story that's coming out of NAST. We are also going to mobilize resources by having a dedicated research and innovation fund, where those low-hanging fruits in terms of innovation, we can at least finance them so that we can move forward into commercializing them, or either product, service, or technology. Most important, we are going to look at to drive culture of change, reward our research and students that at least are taking risks, because we know innovation comes with disturbance. And we are going to promote our research and excellence and celebrate innovation champions within the university. In conclusion, by 2030, what I envision to see is NAST being Namibia's STEM power engine for innovation, driving socio-economic transformation by not only producing Namibian, international, globally, world-class research, high-impact technology, and future-ready talent aligned with our developmental plan. We have our Vision 2030, NDP 6, and so forth. And by 2030, I would like to see NAS to be as a country leading hub for applied research, digital information, leading innovation on green technology, and industry-driven innovation together with industry, so that at least we can move Namibia to a knowledge-based and not only knowledge consumer nation by 2030, and I thank you.
Thank you, Professor Nepolo. I would like to invite the public to ask questions, if any.
There's some online questions.
Okay, we can start with the online questions.
Okay, a question by Heleni Amopolova. She says, a question to Prof. NUST STEM labs and workshops are under-equipped and procurement delays slow improvements. How would you prioritize upgrades and ensure these facilities effectively support research and practical training?
Shall we take a second one, if any? Do we have two on?
Yes, there's
Please,
another one.
do read it.
There's a one from Niels Kluter. He says, thank you both for presenting these ambitious KPIs. To help us understand the strategy behind them, could you walk us through the process used to set these specific targets?
Thank you, Yvonne. Professor, if you could respond to the two questions.
I'll start, I think, with the first one to say sometime things on research infrastructure or laboratory infrastructure which are under-funded. Number one, there's going to be, we know that there's a budget that comes from the line ministry, and in most cases, it's probably not sufficient for us to be able to equip our labs so that at least we can move forward with our innovation or applied research. How we are going to make sure that most of our lab are equipped, as I've said, we are going to identify our key research priority area. Through those one, we are going to go look for funds through grant writing. And if we become successful through this grant, then we should be able at least to include budget for equipment. And this is going to allow us at least to equip our facility with what we call state-of-the-art equipment or technology. In terms of procurement delay, these are institutional policy that need to be looked into. And I'm sure if there are mechanisms in place and we are following that to the dot, I'm sure that there won't really be this procurement delay. And it's quite important for us to point out where are they coming from. Are they spanning from the institution or they are coming from the supplier point of view? The last one was, I think, on our vision KPI, and where do we derive them from? This KPI is literally derived from the institution's strategic policy or document with emphasis on the area of research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Through that, I looked at the NAS strength, our opportunity, and so forth. And also I looked at what do we need, what key action item we need to take, like 20% for them to give us 8% impact. And what I've presented is exactly those I've identified to say, if we focus on those ones, they are going to give us 80% impact, and that's what we want to see by 2030.
Thank you, Prof. Nepolo. Any further questions from the participants? Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Prof. Nepolo. Thank you for a very interesting presentation. Could you briefly walk us through your first 6 months at NUST? I understand you are a new entrant to the organization.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. To take you through the first 6 months, this is not actually it's not my first 100 days in the office. The first 6 months is really going to be dedicated on mapping what's already in existence, because we have to appreciate what's already in existence and we need to build on that. So number one is going to familiarize myself with what's already in existence. And with our strategic objective, I'm going to look at what has been achieved so far. And also what was not achieved, why it was not achieved. And from there is going to give me a clear idea of what we need to focus our energy on. And from there, then we can have our strategic plan for the next 4.5 years. So that 6 months will really be spent on that sphere.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Prof. Nepolo, for the presentation. Just like one of the, should I say, audience mentioned, and of course, the presentation is quite ambitious, quite right. And just one or two things that I observe in terms of the plan. Annual PhD graduate 20 to 30, and 20 patents or copyright annually. It will have been nice if we have an idea of where we are currently in terms of some of those. I just mentioned those two, where we are. Patent, for example, practically nothing for now. And from 0 to 20 in the next 5 years, what are the things that you would put in place to achieve those things in 5 years? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question. So if you have to break down this 20 PhD students in 5 years, that's about at least about four students per year which are graduating with their PhD. I think within the context of the period of 5 years, it's achievable. And what we need to do, number one, it's our program that we are offering to the students, so that how do we make them attractive to them, for them to apply for that program. Once they are within NAST environment, then we need to provide them with mentorship to make sure that at least by the time they register for their PhD, should at least take them 3 years for them to complete. At the end of the day, it's our postgraduate support system that we are going to put in place to support our students and make sure that at least our graduation rate is increased. And I think it's achievable in 5 years.
Has your question been answered satisfactorily?
Annual 20 to 30, not, because what I saw was the annual PhD graduate 20 to 30, not 5 years. It is annually. And the patent as well, moving from 0 to 20 in 5 years. Thank you.
In terms of PhD output, as I said, the modus operandi, I don't think is really going to change if you want to increase that number. It's the student experience is quite very important. When the students comes to campus, they know at least that we pair them with supervisors who know that thematic area, who are expert in that thematic area, they continue to provide mentorship and coaching. We are also going to provide soft skill like grant, research proposal writing, data analysis, data collection, and all those soft skills that at least students need. And I'm sure we can actually have that number of 20 to 50 in a year. In terms of patterns, as you say, we are starting from zero. Probably we have one or two. This is where most of the effort need to be focused on. And for us to achieve this, number one, we need to identify national problems or issues where we can develop innovation or where we can offer service that either can at least have an IP on it. It could be seen as a mammoth task if we have to approach it by ourselves. That we need to partner with stakeholders who have gone through this, and they can be our strategic partner to guide us on how to increase our output. And I see that formula will work better, but most important, we need to create solution to national problem, and this solution, they need also to have an impact to the society where we are operating from, and also the society or the community that we are serving. If we try to operate a thing in isolation, then definitely we won't be able to scale that up. And the policies that are guiding us in terms of IP in the country, we need to look them in detail, identify maybe those, as I said, innovation gap, and we tackle those as NAST.
Thank you, Prof. Nepolo. I'd like to, before I give, let me take that one more question from the public, and then I'll give to the panel members if there are any questions. Yes, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Carolee. I'm from the School of Health. Professor Nepolo, thank you for your presentation. Mine just goes on to the other questions that have been previously asked. Your plans seem realistic and innovative, but of course there are limitations, particularly the free education that's coming, although it might not directly impact research right now. Our funding, our limited staff. We have no problem attracting students, particularly postgraduate students. We do, however, face a large number of a high attrition. So what are your plans to limit or to tackle the limitations with regard to staff, with regard to funding other than grants, because they're not available for all of the fields? So what are your plans to limit or to tackle those limitations?
Could you please just maybe repeat the second last part for the question? Those limitations, maybe you can just mention them one by one.
Okay, so some of the limitations include free education. We have staff, but we have limited number of professors. Like I said, we don't have a challenge with attracting the students. We have a number of postgraduate students applying annually. So what are your plans to tackle these limitations, and what do you think are other limitations that we are facing with regards to increasing the enrollment by 50% that you have proposed?
Thank you for the question. As you said, we don't have a limitation in terms of attracting students. But as you mentioned, free education, I think it was clarified to say to what extent free education is going to become 2026. Definitely, it's a foresight to say we should expect a number of students, quite a higher volume of students coming to our institution. Then, as you said, if you can't fund through research grant, other ways which are not budget exhaustive or resource intensive is to offer renowned professors, research scientists, honorary position or visiting position within our institution, and they'll be more happier to come to us to teach our students, do research, do innovation, supervise, mentor, and I'm sure with that we can actually achieve a lot. And through that process also now, we can create avenue for the current staff member to climb up their career ladder, either in terms of lecturer, senior, associate professor to professorship. We should give them those avenues to study. That could be within NAST or within our key stakeholder institution where we have our MOU. Then that way we can actually address some of those challenges.
Are you okay with the response? Thank you. Any further questions? Panel members, it's open. Prof. Nikondo.
Yes, yeah, I think it's fine. I have several. Don't know if questions. Yes. Yeah, you know, the first question there you mentioned. Now I just follow your presentation itself. I don't ask general. You say you are going to have like things like ethical compliance and research governance exceeding 98%, right? How you measure, research governance. And again, if there is such a thing, the current one maybe is already beyond that. The other question is, you refer to research labs. Are you talking research lab or hubs? These two things, are you sure? And then you also mentioned innovation across campuses. Maybe you know how many campuses NAST have? You know them? Yeah, and then the last question, you instead of in passing you talked about NDP 6, but in the presentation there is Harambe, and there are two Harambe policies. I don't know which one because there's only Harambe, and the duration of Harambe is something like 2 years. I don't know now how it appears there instead of NDP 6. And then lastly, you said you're going to address some challenge through honorary positions and so on. I don't know how honorary, say degree, someone who's given a honorary degree is coming to address your challenge, because that one's just a honorary.
Oh. Can I start addressing them? Thank you. I'll start with the last one, going upwards. The honorary is not the degree, maybe just for me to clarify that that's a position. An honorary position or adjunct position or a visiting is just a position. The person have a PhD or a master or all the expertise that we require. The university can offer that position at no cost. It's not that the person have an honorary degree. Yeah. I hope that one, I think we have clarified it. The second one, maybe moving top up, it's on the Harambe and the NDP6 that I think I've mentioned. These two documents, the Harambe and this one, is sort of a continuation. Document, even though the other one time has lapsed. There's quite a bit of similarity in what we need to achieve, and most important, the same document they are talking about our Vision 2030 that we are still to achieve. Maybe because of time, my slide never really captured NDP 6, but at least I mentioned about it when I was talking about that specific slide. The third one. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I was talking about, a campus. Which ones are these?
Yeah, the campuses can mention but a few. Definitely there's one in Enana, if you can start from the north. Then Uderis, there's another campus, and I think there's also another one closer to Chivarongo, I think Sesfontein. Yeah, so I'm aware of some of these NAST campuses within the country.
the hubs and labs?
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, when I'm talking about the hubs and the lab, those are not the same thing. Okay? For instance, we have, thing at NAS, we have a computing lab, and we also have this health sciences lab, and those are totally different from hubs. But if you want to transform with our key partner, we can also transform some of these lab into hubs if that's what we want. Together with the industry, they can be equipped and they can also serve that purposes. But in this context, there are two different entities.
And the research governance exceeding, how can you measure research governance?
Yeah, on that point, the first thing that we mentioned, we talked about in terms of ethic compliance. When we say we are doing responsible research in context of also accountability and so forth, number one, what we need to measure there is our research proposal, the number of research proposals that has successfully gone through our pipeline. In terms of, thank you. In terms of governance, we can also look at now how many of our research are conducted in an ethical manner, in an accountable manner. We can talk about One Health, animal, human. Are we also observing all those elements in line with national, regional, and international standard or policies?
Well, thank you very much for Prof. Nepolo. Prof. Nikondo, I hope your questions have been responded to. Okay, thank you very much. Our time is up for Prof. Nepolo. I think we'll just take another 5 minutes before the next candidate comes in. May we please appreciate Mr. Nepolo for his time. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our candidate is ready. If we may just take our seats. If there are participants that are standing outside, may we please just call them in? Yeah. Did you want to step out? No, I just wanted to stand. Okay. Gentlemen, may we please take our seats so that we can finish a bit early. Marjorie, are we ready? Ladies and gentlemen, may we welcome our next candidate, Professor Hilma Rantila Amwele. She's our third candidate. There will be one more candidate coming on. We have 4 candidates, so Prof. Hilma Rantila Amwele takes the stage now. Prof. Hilma.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening, viewers. Today I'm going to present to you this topic that I have never heard before, but anyway, let me try my best. The topic is on accelerating NAST's contributing to Namibia Vision 2030 through STEM driving research or to STEM driving program. Now, to have a very short introduction, Namibia University of Science and Technology accelerate its contribution to Namibia Vision 2030 by focusing on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That is what we are calling STEM, in terms of research or education in nationally relevant areas like water, energy, food nexus, climate change, and digital technologies. Now, to look at the vision of STEM, it is a driving force which is behind innovation, technology advancement, and encouraging interest and participation in STEM field. Now, STEM will also, I can describe it as leading to the success of more graduates that will become entrepreneur with lead to the reduction in youth unemployment. Now, to look at the strategic priority of this specific topic, STEM, in terms of leadership and management, it will focus on developing a unique brand of technical experts and skills such as strategic thinking, communication, and collaboration. Now, to look at these 3 terminology, when we are talking about strategic thinking and planning, this one, it's the leader that must be able to align daily tasks in organization long-term vision and manage resources effectively and adapt to a constantly evolving landscape. And then the effect, if we are looking at effective communication, this is a clear articulation of goals and then expectation and the vision. They diverse to the stakeholder, where we are looking at the team that, for example, in the institution that we need to work with, and then we'll be able to make sure that students are motivated, and then or lecturers are motivated. And then we look at the change in management. Now, this one, it will lead into the leader who will have a skill that will be able to drive them in such a way, or it can guide them so that they can be able to have a smooth transition. Let me say, if now STEM is to be introduced, of which I know it's already at NAST, and also to make sure that the strategic planning remains intact during a periodic or flex. And then the implementation approach for this STEM. Now, I will look at the key, most important thing to be able to implement STEM. Now, one of the things, because now I'm talking from the research background, one has to look at grants that are addressing STEM development. And that is what you apply. And then you'll be able to invest into STEM teacher or lecturer training. And then we'll be able to look into the offer of resources and tools that are needed or that are supporting STEMs, especially softwares, materials, budget for resources, for example, like education software, and then create supportive ecosystem. Now, the supportive ecosystem, like for example, before you implement a program, you need to make sure that you develop its curriculum, like the STEM program, make sure that it's approved and accredited before it is implemented. Now, the other point that we need to continue with the leadership action. Now, as a leader, when you are introducing this STEM, you make sure that you have to be adaptive. Because if STEM, assume as it was new at NAST, make sure that you adapt or accept this kind of change, and then act as a facilitator. For example, when you are with your colleagues, make sure that you facilitate them very well in this STEM so that they can have a better understanding what exactly is it for. Foster a positive attitude towards change in case now, if it was not there, now it is there. Like, for example, I know engineering has introduced STEM, but to us, we don't have STEM yet. So now, in case now, in the School of Agriculture, we have to start this STEM program, we have to make sure that we have a positive attitude towards it to make sure that we prepare our students. Then we make sure that we encourage collaboration, because now in this case, we need to look at institutions that have STEM, and then we try to implement what they have started, or the faculty that has already started with STEM, and then we implement it. And then we invite stakeholders to make sure that they support STEM initiative, for example, sponsoring computers, software that are needed for learning, and then at the end of the day, we'll have better students with good marks or points and join a higher degree in the different university of their choice, or if they want, they can remain at NAST. Now, to conclude, STEM will assist students to improve their marks or their points, and they can be able to join programs. I start with my own program, with this agriculture, engineering, or like, for example, biology, physics, chemistry, and so forth. Now, when they enter with better marks, at the end of the day, when the students study some of these courses, it can also stimulate their mind. At the end of the day, I just put an example here that they can be able to grow food, come up with new organic pesticide, or let me say they add value to that specific food, and then they can be able to market it. At the end of the day, this student will become self-employed, and then they won't become job seeker at the end of the day. So that was my presentation in short. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Amwele. I would now like to invite the audience to ask questions. Any questions? Yes, sir. Do you have a mic?
Thank you, Prof, for the presentation. My name is Colin Tondo. I just wanted to understand clearly on the issue of STEM that you were referring to. I just want to understand, you said that in your part you did not introduce STEM. So I wanted to understand, what is STEM to you, and what is the link between STEM, research, and community partnership? Thank you.
Okay, my understanding of STEM is those courses that the student has to take when they come with low mark from the from the high school. And then, but now here I think I miss my point because it referred to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Okay, now, one of those courses that the student that has to take a STEM is mathematics. And then for them to be able to join engineering with a better, for them to have a better understanding and to understand those specific courses. Now, but I pick that in this regard, it is referred as science, technology, and engineering and mathematics. I think I missed my point there.
Has your question been responded to satisfactorily? What is the link?
The link between?
May you just please repeat your question?
So the question is the link between STEM, research, and community partnership. The last part.
The link between STEM, research, and partnership.
Community partnership.
Community partnership. To me, I look at it here, probably it could be the knowledge that one will achieve and be able to use it to communicate to or to collaborate with stakeholders, and at the end of the day, they will be able also to engage with communities. And they can do that in form of technology, or they can do it in terms of research. For example, if I'm conducting the specific research and I need it to be done in a certain community, then I think there will be a transfer of knowledge.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Kanji and then the gentleman.
Thank you, Prof. Let I contextualize a bit. You see, I just want to find out about your leadership and what are you bringing to the position. Because this is a DVC position. It's a very high-level position at the university level. It's not about student enrollment and so on. It's very high level. So what kind of leadership will you bring to the position? What new thinking, what new innovations will you bring? Do you think the whole position must cut across the research, innovations, technology, all those levels? Because you are now a leader, you are a DVC, you are not a dean, you are not a head of state, head of department, you are a DVC. So what leadership will you bring? What new thinking, innovations, strategic thinking around the whole unit or division, because it's a division. So that's my question. What are you bringing to the position?
Okay, to this position, I think I will bring a new way in which our researcher will be able to learn quickly and to be able to source funding quickly and to be able also to come up or to follow the grant that will be able to come up with products, which at the end of the day, NAS can come up with their own product and then will be able to patent it or and be able also to sell. So the way I'm looking at it is like I will be improving on science and then I improve if it comes to introduce a new product. If I give you an example, for now I run a project where we are looking at the geothermal energy, which is currently not available in Namibia. Now, in this case, we are doing a ground research, of which now at the end of the day, we develop a model. Although this specific energy is not for cities, but we will introduce it in community, I believe that this one can also be part of innovation, and it can be also part of a new product that can be able to be patented by NAST, and NAST can be able to generate additional income.
Thank you, Chair.
And thank you, Prof. Amwele, for such a insightful presentation. My question is twofold. The one is under the implementation approach that you presented on. One of the points you made is that you say you will foster, or there's a need to foster a positive attitude to change. And then in your conclusion, you spoke about how STEM will assist students to improve their marks in order to get into a couple of disciplines that you mentioned. And my question is, under those 2 points, as a DVC, what sort of interventions are you looking to introduce then to do that, and I mean to foster that positive change? And of course, how does STEM in itself assist students improve their marks, as you said? Is there an intervention to assist with that? And just some enlightenment. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think there will be, because there is technology there. There is technology, there is science, and then there is also engineering. So if now, let me say, there is a new form of a technology that is introduced to this student, they can be able to use that specific technology. I can give an example, like currently, students are more using AI. So if they use AI, they can be able to improve in their research, because we also talk about research, or in their learning. And at the end of the day, they can be able to complete their task, and they become graduates, and then they can be also used this tool to be able to formulate new things that lead them into entrepreneurship. At the end of the day, by looking at it, they will become independent, but not job seeker.
Thank you very much, Prof. Amwele. I would now like to open up to the panel for any questions. Do we have any questions online? Anything from the panel? If not, can we take the questions online?
Sure. So Dalvaline Mervis said, good evening. To ensure NUST has a diverse and reputable research record, the university needs a cadre of seasoned researchers. How will you enhance the university's capability to attract international scholars and researchers?
Okay, I think in this, thank you very much for the question. I think in this regard, to be able to attract the international researcher, in this way, we have to introduce research that are unique. Now, for example, Namibia is one of the countries that have unique plants, especially the medicinal plant, because of its soil quality. So if we advertise NUST as an institution that is trying to develop herbal medicine, it is possible that you will see that you will attract a lot of researchers, and you will also attract the grants that are interested to develop that field. Thank you.
Proceed.
Okay, there's another question from Jeremiah Mwinga. How will you ensure that strategic plans do not remain on paper, but are operationalized across faculties and research units? He has another question, but maybe answer that one first.
Yeah, I think first we need to look at what is in the strategic plan, and then we make sure that it is implemented across the institution. Now, when one is reviewing the strategic plan, we need to sit together with different faculty, maybe all their deans and HODs, and then we strategize how can we make sure that we implement what is written in our strategic plan, and then we make sure that we also evaluate the performance of that specific strategic plan to make sure that all tasks that are written there are implemented.
And then the second question is, how will you strengthen the pathway from research outputs to actual innovation, like patents, startups, or community solutions?
Okay, that pathway, the first thing that you need to do before you start that research, you already channel it in such a way that you will have a product as an output that is going to be stand a chance to be registered. And then after it's registered, it can be marketed. So, like, for example, if now I'm from the field of agriculture, and then I said, okay, now I need a new variety of tomato. Now my intention is to produce a tomato paste. So now I make sure that the research that I'm going to do, it's more focusing on the addictive that I'm going to put in that tomato paste to make sure that it remains fresh, but organic at the same time. And then one can be able to patent it, register it, and market it.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? I think how are we doing time? We've got 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. I think we can release our candidate. Thank you very much, Prof. Mwele. May we please appreciate her. Yvonne, could you kindly advise in terms of the last candidate? Is he ready? Not yet. Okay, so we can take a break. Please do stay put. Don't leave yet, so that we give support to the last candidate as well. I beg of you. Thank you. I think there's coffee outside now. evening, ladies and gentlemen. We now have our last candidate ready to present to us, Professor Simon Angombe. Simon Angombe.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Prof. Simon. Please do proceed.
Thank you so much. As has been said, my name is Simon Angombe. I'm work at the University of Namibia as an Associate Dean, School of Agriculture and Fisheries Sciences. I would like to thank the panel for giving me this opportunity to present today for the candidate. Not too sure. Okay. The topic which I was given today is accelerating NAS's contribution to Namibia Vision 2030 through STEM-driven research, innovation, and partnership. I think we all know research need to be driven by science and technology and so on. And when you go around as well, development are through research. And also as institution of higher learning, we need to engage in research, because if we leave it out to NGO to do research, I think that's a big mistake that we are going to do. So therefore, it's very crucial that institution of higher learning play a very important role in terms of research. The slide is not moving. Yeah, I hope it's moving now. So through the topic which I was given, I was also like to say NAS as a STEM-driven catalyst for Namibia Vision 2030. What is its contribution towards that Vision 2030? So NAS vision and commitment combine to being a leading technology university and focusing on innovation, knowledge creation, and also entrepreneurship. I think this one can be seen in different campuses, what type of research we are getting there and so on. And also the vision of NAS supports Namibia NDP 5 and also NDP 6. Apology that I put NDP 5, but I think the NDP 6 is out there. When you go through the NDP 6, you can see that the NAS is actually supporting that NDP 6. And also we also have Harambee Prosperity Plan, which is actually was implemented and also auctioned, and also Agenda 2063 for sustainable development. This is very crucial, especially the most important, the SADC or regional agendas. Focusing on approach on applied science and partnership, emphasizing applied science and strong emphasis, NAS drives the solutions for socio-economic challenges. So the socio-economic challenges is very crucial to mention here is, for example, we have a lot of accident on the road and so on, but MVA fund need state-of-the-art research so that we can able to identify what are the causes and so on. We had recently, for example, I was listening yesterday to the Vice President of Namibia when he was talking about the issue of dropout of the boys' child from school that need to be investigated. So these are the things that we are looking at, like the social economic development. Empowering through education, NAS empowers students and faculty to create that innovation that foster industrialization, jobs, and also sustainability. Because like we need to look at what is the sustainability in terms of like those jobs that have to be created. So now, what would success look like by 2030? For example, from NAS perspective. Of course, by 2030, we would like NAS to be recognized as a top institution in terms of the technology, and also it aims to recognize as a leading technological university in Africa with excellence in STEM and education and research. But how do we do this as well? For example, we need as an institution NAS to be registered with the Times Higher Education so that we can able to be ranked to see at what position does NAS actually stand in terms of ranking. Center of Excellence, to establish Center of Excellence in artificial intelligence, sustainable textile innovations, and also advanced manufacturing. So these are the three areas that I've chosen that the Center of Excellence can be established or maybe uplifted and so on. Sustainable textile innovations, we all know that, for example, we have a lot of livestock here in the country, but the textile industry is really suffering because we don't have any education training which is actually focusing on that. The strong quadruped and so on, like we in partnership, we are looking at like the robust collaboration between academia, industry, government, and also community that will drive the impactful research. Because like without collaboration, you can't able to do anything. So we need to go to MTC, for example, telecom, and also any other institution that can able to collaborate so that we can able to assist and also develop solutions that that are impactful. Economic and innovation impact continue to Namibia GDP by developing innovation ecosystem, supporting SME, and also increasing research income and startup. So you need to have that courage in terms of like when you have now these incubation hubs. You need to have those patterns that are developed so that you can able to develop the country. As I said, I was asked like also to develop what are the three strategic priorities that I think. Of course, there are many, but I was looking at artificial intelligence. 2 weeks ago, or maybe 2 months ago, I was reading in the newspaper that South Africa has developed the first robotics, tutor robot, teaching robotics and so on. The first one in the country. Then what I was saying, why can't we use leverage on that so that we can able to develop that also tutor robotics so that we can able to free up the professors, because they need to be in the field doing research and so on. Of course, like they need to be in the class, but I think if we can have that so that we can able to leverage in terms of like professors to be in the field and so on. The textile industry, as I said, is very crucial, using livestock hides and so on. So as we say, I went to Ethiopia recently, maybe should I say last month, and I noticed that like the conditions of Ethiopia, they're just like in Namibia. But in terms of also livestock, they almost also have the same number of livestock. But like their industry, textile industry, in terms of like leather production, is so advanced that why can't we take that leverage? So institution of higher learning, we need to take that lead so that we can able to develop industry and also business so that we can able to employ our young people. Amplifying 3D printing for manufacturing. Understand, I know this FET lab at NAST, that can be used, leverage in terms of like production. So because when you go to Chinatown, you find a lot of these toys. The toys are normally produced like through 3D machines and so on. Why can't we do the same so that we can able to develop that area? So as I said, these are just some of the things that I thought we must actually look at and so on. In terms of AI transforming key sections, revolution in agriculture, healthcare, logistic, and so on. So, for example, in terms of delivery of medicine to rural areas, we need to use this also artificial intelligence so that we can able to fly drones to deliver medicine and so on. So we NAST, in terms of like AI research, we need to offer specialized AI programs supported by research clusters, the things which I'm talking about, the robotics, and also what I said, like the developing those tutors, robotic tutors, so that they can able to deliver. And these things, once we develop them, they can also be applied to secondary schools and so on, so that we can able to advance in that aspect. The textile industry, using livestock hives, I think I don't want to, I want to emphasize that this is very crucial because, as I said, we have a lot of things like to do so that we can able, I think I've already alluded to during the first slides when I introduced this topic. The amplifying the 3D machine is also the same. So what are the approaches? The approaches is we need to create that center of excellence, to create center of excellence in AI, textile, and innovation, and also 3D printing to foster research in industry collaboration. That's because that's very key. We need to bring in the industry so that they can look at what we are doing, and also to do research based on the stakeholder or the industry. So curriculum integration, we need to look at that. Strategic priorities will be embedded in curricula to align academic programs, and also funding and partnership. They say local is legal. So we need to go to these local institutions so that we can able to partner them. For example, I have an example. We are partnering with the Namibia Agronomic Board at the University of Namibia, where UNAM is contributing 30% and NAB is 70%. And that actually we understand very well the issues around in the country. And I think those are the type of partnership that we would like. Of course, international partnership is also very important. Now, leadership action, stakeholder collaboration, and also measurable outcomes. What are the things? Establish center of excellence for AI, textile innovation, and also additive manufacturing. Mobilize resources to secure funding for research and infrastructure. Also embed STEM priorities into curricula and research clusters. And advocate also for policy alignment with the Vision 2030. Of course, it's coming to the end soon, but like we need to see how we can leverage on that. The stakeholder collaboration. is very crucial, especially our government. We need to see how can we work together so that we can able to align with the Vision 2030 and also NDPCs and so on. Industry co-create solutions and internship, that's also very crucial. We need to get our students into the industry so they can able to experience what is look like there. Vocation Training Center, I can't emphasize more because we need to collaborate with the Vocation Training Center because that's where the scaling up of activities can be done. For example, a student in engineering, they can able to design and you take it to the Vocation Training Center so that they can able to scale it up. So international partners is also very crucial, research grant technology transfer. So what are the measurable outcome? AI number of patents prototypes created, the textile industry export revenue from hive-based product, the 3D printing machines, the number of labs established and so on. The research impact, we need to see increase in research income up to 100,000 by 2030, and also very crucial, the PhD student that need to be awarded because we need to look at that because many times students came in the system but they're not going out. But we need to see how we can supervise and assist administration of the postgraduate so that they can able to excel. So what is the summary of my vision is STEM-driven national development. NAS should align its vision to Vision 2030 and also emphasizing artificial intelligence, sustainable textile, and also manufacturing to build a knowledge-based economy. And integration of research priorities into academic programs, that's very crucial so that the student can able to pick up on that. And also pursue excellence, diversity, and also sustainability guided by measurable strategic goals and also accountability. So commitment to leadership, leadership driven by innovation through partnership is very crucial, and also commitment to aligning policies and supporting research, a culture that promotes the creation and IP commercialization. I would like to underline that. And also engaging stakeholders to co-create solutions addressing local challenges aligned with Namibia Vision 2030. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Angombe. I would like to now open up for questions from the audience. Any questions for Prof? Does it mean the presentation was very clear? Do we have any questions? Prof. Nkondo?
I just have two questions. Number one, you mentioned of Agenda 2063. For which organization is this one? And then the other one is, the textile industry. Is this one is a niche area that you are coming to introduce? Because maybe you are going to find a strategic plan already running with some niche areas. Are you going to replace that one immediately with a new niche area? Textile industry, in which faculty is going to be this one?
Thank you.
You may proceed to respond to the question.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof, for those questions. Very important. For which organization is Agenda 2063? Africa Agenda 2063. So that's actually an agenda that was created for Africa. The second one, in terms of like textile industry, I think when you look at Namibia, we don't have any program academic institution that's focusing on textile. And this textile is actually will be under the Faculty of Engineering. I remember some years back, I went to Kenya. I think, I'm not too sure, one of the Kenya university, which they have a program on textile. And I think I was telling my colleague, like, we need to establish such a program, but it's actually under engineering because it's about design and so on. But like, if we need to have a dedicated faculty for this one, it's okay. But like for the start, I would rather put it under engineering department or faculty.
Thank you, Prof. Wangombe. Yes. Behind Mr. Kanji first, and then Mr. Kanji.
Thank you so much, Chair, for the opportunity, and thank you so much, Prof, for your excellent presentation, very well articulated. I'm just a follow-up on the textile. And in line with your role, this is DVC Research, Innovation and Partnership. I expected you to be talking about research, but from your explanation, from your response to the previous speaker, you were talking about the establishment of a department under the Faculty of Engineering, where you're talking about industrial engineering and focusing on mechanic textile. But isn't that I think, is that not a deviation from your role and that you're being interviewed for? Because I believe your role is DVC Research, Innovation and Partnership. Thank you.
We will take a second question before you respond. Mr. Kanji.
Thank you, Prof. My area is fundraising. Now, you spoke about raising 100 million. I'm not so sure whether it's per year or a period of 5 years. Now, my question is, in terms of revenue generations, how will you go about promoting strategies and ways of raising money through research, patents, innovations, to come to the 100 million you mentioned there?
You may proceed to respond to the two questions before we take any more questions.
Okay, thank you so much for the question with regard to the textile. Probably maybe I focus too much on the academic, but like what I was saying is the research on and also startup on textile. For example, as I said, we have a number of cattle here, livestock and so on, but like there's no much of a startup in that. It's actually kind of innovation. But again, also, as a DVC responsible for research and so on, we need to collaborate with the DVC academic affairs, because like if there's a need to establish that program, that actually will feed into the commercializations and so on, and also training students on that, because also when you develop short courses, it's also part of funds, mobilizing funds and so on. So I think, as a management, I need to talk to DVC responsible for academic affairs so that we can able to see how we can able to establish that or bring it the textile to the institution. Yes, with regard, thank you so much for the question. With regard to the 100 million that I was referring to, the 100 million is I put it actually for 2026 if I'm appointed as a DVC research. So that like and then how to go about it, that of course you need to approach in terms of like grant writing and so on, and targeting different donor organization or maybe partnership. And also, as I said, it's very crucial to engage with the local partners. For example, as I said, like the MVA fund, for example, they spend almost 200 million per quarter in terms of like on accident and so on, like in terms of like claiming and so on. So the idea is also to see what can be done so that we can able to reduce those accidents and so on. So it means engaging these institutions so that we can able to do research. And of course, like that 100 million, I just put it up so that to engage the locals and also internationals so that we can able to raise such fund. So as I said, commercialization is also one of it. Of course, like it did not just come within a year, but like it's actually over time and so on. And those parents that you are creating is not also coming within a year, but we need to come up with a strategy so that we can able to raise such money. But we need to train staff in terms of grant proposals writing, because like there's a lot of funds which are out there, but if you put up a very good proposal, competitive, you can able to access some of those funds. And the very important as well is we have Environmental Investment Fund. They have access to, or they are registered as one of the fund administrator for GCF and also for Global Environmental Fund. So these are the things that we say, like we start negotiation in terms of partnership and also submitting the proposal through through Environmental Investment Fund, so that we can able to fund some of the things and so on. Yeah. And also ability to tap into adaptation funds.
Thank you, Prof. Have the questions been responded to satisfactorily? Thank you. Any further questions? Yvonne? We have an online question.
Okay, so there are two. The one says that our masters and honors students tend to complete the coursework on time, but then they struggle with the research. What strategies as DVC will you employ to assist these students and clear the backlog? And then the second question is quite a long one, but I'm going to just cut right through to the chase. It says, what concrete mechanisms ensure that priorities translate into national impact rather than remaining academic objectives? So it talks about AI, 3D printing in Namibia's being really great, but that Namibia has current structural constraints such as limited local manufacturing capacity and slow digital adaptation. So how would you ensure that these priorities translate into national impact rather than remain academic objectives?
Is the question clear?
Yeah, the second one may be not clear, but the first one I can able to answer, then I go to, yeah. Thank you so much for the question that the master students struggle with research. They completed the coursework, but research is not done. So I think the most important thing here is, especially with the research, is ethical clearance that many times is not done on time, and also the supervision that assigning a supervisor to the student. Of course, like most of the time, they may have supervisors, but I think it's very important that like these students are assigned supervisor from the beginning. Now, there are times that the student may struggle with the research, but like the student may collect data, but they don't have that capability in terms of data analysis. So the most important thing like is to employ or maybe to train this graduate in terms of like data analysis and also data computation, so that they can have that capability in terms of data analysis. But also the other aspect is actually the actual writing that most of the time the students struggle. So in institutional like NAS, they have we have what we call academic skills lecturers that can able to assist these students so that they can able to write academically and also have that confidence so that they can able to finish on time. But it's really more an assistance so that they can able to follow the data analysis and also able to interpret those results. Maybe the second question, if you can just refresh.
Yvonne.
Okay, I'll read the whole question. Given the strategic priorities you presented, Prof, how will NUST plan to bridge the gap between the high-tech ambition, i.e., like AI and 3D printing, and Namibia's current structural constraints, such as limited local manufacturing capacity, slow digital adoption, and uneven access to infrastructure in rural regions? So versus, really it should say. What concrete mechanisms ensure these priorities translate into a national impact rather than remaining academic objectives?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. Yes, when I was going through, reading through NAST strategic plan, and we find out that actually NAST have one of the best 3D printing machine in the country. So I'm not really sure what was the problem in terms of like this 3D machine can be used, but like my strategy, once I go, I will able to look at like what are the constraints that actually lead to this 3D machine not being utilized and so on. But I know there are some institutions like institution in the country that have 3D machine, not probably maybe like the one of Nest, but they are able to print out the parts, for example, the propellers for the drones and so on. So what I'm seeing, like I think I'll just have to see what are the constraints, why it has not been it was not used as it's supposed to be. Yeah. But as I said, there are some of the institutions that are in Namibia that are using 3D machines. They are using it properly and so on. So I think those are the things that I'll look at it. What are the things and so on, yeah, that need to be looked at, why it was not used.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think we have utilized your 15 minutes of question time. I would like to thank you very much for the presentation. At this point.
Thank you so much for listening to me.
You're welcome. At this point in time, I would really just want to thank the audience, both online and in this room, for your patience and basically just the questioning that you really, presented to the candidates. I would like to basically invite you for tomorrow's presentations as well. Please do come in big numbers as well. We are doing the DVC TLT tomorrow. So you're welcome to the public presentations as well in that matter. So please, thank you so much and have a lovely evening.